Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. And we have got ourselves what should be a good one here today. It is gonna be one of my favorite bots to watch. In the top left, it's Ketroc. And in the bottom right, it's gonna be none other than Eris, the monster Zerg, taking on, I'll say, the sort of unique Terran. Ketroc seems to have a little bit of a unique flair. This bot likes to do things like sometimes odd cheeses, go into mass banshee. It's got some intelligent design to it. And so we're going to see how well it fares against Eris today. Eris is a very difficult bot to overcome. If you're a programmer making a bot, Eris is probably a good one to test against, as it is just so darn good at surviving and macroing up. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, make sure to go ahead and click that like button if you haven't already. If we can hit, let's say there's 36 workers in this game right now. If we can hit 36 likes on this video, I will do 36. I will drink 36 coffees in the next month. I don't know. I was gonna say like 36 push-ups or backflips or something, but why do you say that when I could say something easier? And now, leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot games. I certainly enjoy casting them. I've got a pretty good setup going, all things considered, living in a hotel room. I'm gonna be looking forward to when I get back to my proper gaming setup. I think if you're a real gamer, you've probably got the setup that you like the most, like playing with a mouse that isn't your usual or something like that. It can throw you off. There was an infamous Starcraft 2 player called the Muslim, for those of you that are old Starcraft 2 pro scene fans, and he was notorious for being thrown off by like having a different mouse or something, and whether that's just a convenient excuse or not for when it comes to playing your games, or whether it actually affects you. I think it actually does a little bit, but regardless, we're gonna see how well Ketroc is gonna be able to do. This is the sort of thing I love about Ketroc, like the fact that it goes for a fast planetary fortress. Apparently I said that word too fast so that I could barely pronounce it, and it then just does things like this. Ketroc has programmed his bot so that it consistently goes for the Zerg's first overlord. I don't know what conditions it uses to say, oh yeah, there's an overlord nearby, do the barracks lift up thing, but it is going to try and chase down and kill this overlord. Bot authors haven't really adjusted to counter this, as we see that Eris doesn't try and move its overlord away, and it does get killed. It could have potentially survived if it just flew to the corner there. But it's one of those things, if you're a bot author, you're not necessarily going to spend, 4 hours programming your bot so that it saves the first overlord when it plays against this one other Terran bot. There's other things you can focus on. And yeah, Ketroc is a very darn good bot when it comes to macroing up. It powers up, it likes to build lots of command centers, and we already see a third base just about finished up. And then it kind of zergs as a Terran. Like, it expands very rapidly, it builds nice sim cities in its main base, getting up tons of production. And we're going to see if it can survive against Eris this game. Ketroc went for a very fast third command center. It's got that natural base locked down with a planetary fortress. The concern isn't really going to be holding the natural, though. It's going to be more about holding the exterior base. It's like the third, the fourth, or the fifth, if Ketroc can get there. Because we see in this game right now, Eris is just sprinting towards that 80, 90 drone count. With the speed mining that these bots do, like 3 bases is just an insane economy. You add on a 4th, it snowballs super hard. And so Eris is already going to be eclipsing 60 drones in a second here, probably getting up that 4th base soon enough. And whereas Ketroc is just getting up another planetary fortress at the 3rd base, so really going to lock that down and play defensive. Nothing has been killed this game except that one poor overlord. And so we've got quite a passive situation, which I'm honestly all for, because Ketroc is one of the better Terran bots when it comes to just powering up and macroing, as there's not a lot of Terran bots that can just macro up against Eris and take it on in the late game, simply because the Zerg maxes out so darn quickly with the larva mechanics. We even see a Nidus on the way already for Eris, though. That's an interesting thing. I feel like that's something we don't usually see. Is it going to be like Nidus Swarm Host or something? Eris could potentially be going for a bit of a unique build here, and we're going to see if that's successful or not. We've got this one Overlord. Well, I'll just leave it at that. And then we have got, Hive on the way. A Nidus very, very early for the Zerg bot, though. And it's making Swarm Host, so we're actually going to be seeing a Nidus Swarm Host strategy from Eris. So I know I talk about how Ketroc has got all this flair, but Eris is a bot with a lot of style, too. I do like how the bot makers have created this incredibly stable bot in the late game. It's so darn good at doing just what is basic macro, but then it mixes in games like this, where it goes for 10 Swarm Host, and is now going to begin dropping Locusts towards the base of Ketroc. We'll see if Ketroc can handle this or not, as there is a creep clearing squad that we saw in chat assigned by Ketroc. This is nice because it kills off those creep tumors and pushes them back. Ketroc does hear that the Nidus has been popped out, so it knows that it's going to be going up against. Enemy has Zerg Swarm Host burrowed MP, prioritizing detection, giving us a nice chat as far as what the play is for Ketroc, as those Locusts are now going to be coming towards the third base of Ketroc. We'll see if those tanks can hold on. Looks like a refinery and SCVs are the target first, so the tank will stay alive. That's important. This refinery may burn down, though, and the Nidus has yet to be found. So Ketroc is just fighting against the swarm here, as that third base is holding on. Liberators are just setting up at it. That'll help kill some of the Locusts, but the problem is they do deal so much damage. The refinery is not programmed to be repaired, it looks like. I bet Ketroc will rebuild that pretty soon after it dies. Unfortunately, it's not going to be there to absorb the brunt of the damage, so we'll see what goes down in this wave of Locusts. Looks like a tank is actually going to survive, and so the Liberators, the turrets, the planetary are actually keeping these Swarm Host at bay. The problem is right now that this is eating into the resources of Ketroc, and Eris behind this does have 90 drones. It's already invested in those Swarm Hosts. If they get something done, if they don't, it's not the end of the world, because Eris is just a macro monster Zerg, already taking pretty much all the bases on its side of the map. Won't be too long before we see that one get taken. A 91 drone economy with speed mining is crazy. We're seeing more and more of these Locusts get tossed on out now. There's another group of those danger muffins, as we see the Locusts are killing off lots of SCVs that belong to Ketroc. 28 have gone down. The tank also dies there. That is painful. And I had hope when Ketroc said prioritizing detection, but then it never found the Nidus. It never found the Swarm Host. The Swarm Host, where did they go? Okay, so they are actually running around like mad. At least one squad for Eris is. We're also seeing Banshees get chased by Hydras, as the Zerg is looking to get aggressive. Ketroc trying to get up a command center here, but the Zerg may be looking to deny that with Hydras, with Infestors coming on in. There's lots of Ravens for Ketroc, as it has been turtling and building up. So far, it's weathering the storm, but I am getting a little bit concerned here, as there is no fourth base on deck for Ketroc. There was that base that flew south, or was going to be getting started up south, but it never happened. This fourth base is still resuming its build, as Eris is just going for the throat, and that could potentially allow this fourth base to get up. That would be very darn big. The fact that Eris hasn't countered that. Eris doesn't want to fight the turrets, but then it also kind of wants that tank, it looks like. And looks like these tanks are going to get some nice shots off, potentially killing off all these Hydras, allowing Ketroc maybe a moment of respite. But the problem is with Eris, we did see that fourth base get canceled, and the problem is that Eris, once it maxes out, it's like a bulldog. It just bites and doesn't let go. It will not stop attacking because it's not going to stop producing units. And so Ketroc is really stuck on 3 bases. It's trying to get up a 4th base. It's building 2 more command centers, but neither of them are being resumed to build, as Lings have killed off those SCVs. We see another attempt to the far right. Ketroc has that base denied, and that's one of the things I really love about Ketroc's bot, its willingness to expand, to try and expand as a Terran, but then the Zerg is just doing a great job of shutting that down. I really love the movements of both of these bots. As we see, they just have such unique attack patterns. It seems so efficient the way they attack compared to what bots used to be. These Locusts are still causing problems. Ketroc's bot has yet to find that Nidus. Well, it knows the Nidus is there, but it's not gone to clean it out. More and more SCVs keep dying. Things are really getting out of hand. That Ling in the top right did get cleaned up, though, so you really got to give it to Ketroc's bot for holding on. But time is looking a little rough as more and more of these SCVs just keep dying. We've seen 70 perish this game. That's no small chunk of change. Ketroc is building up lots and lots of Ravens, and that is where it can get lots of army efficiency. Resources lost, though, just 70 SCVs is really tipping the scales as those Locusts keep doing work constantly. We're even seeing an Overlord with a Queen just flying around. I'm not sure what she's up to, maybe just dropping creep around the place. The Locusts come on in, kill off more and more of these SCVs, deny that refinery once more. I don't know if Ketroc is ever going to find that location. We have seen another command center get established here, but it's not a planetary fortress yet. There is at least a Liberator sieging up to help guard that. Fungal Growth catches a couple Vikings and Ravens. For now, though, Ketroc hasn't lost all these important units, though, so it is holding on. Turrets are trading out against Hydras okay. The Liberators are not one-shotting Hydras. I actually don't know if Liberators one-shot Hydras with +3 armor or with +3 attack. We'll have to keep an eye on if that's the case or not. As now we're seeing Vipers toss out a Parasitic Bomb. Great splitting micro by Ketroc. It's not a surprise that such a late-game bot has got anti-fungal, anti-parasitic bomb behavior. But oh no, Ketroc just about had that base as a planetary, but it must have hit a damage threshold that it lifted off, and that is disastrous for the blue Terran bot. If it had given that a second, it would have killed the Hydras and potentially held on. Instead, Ketroc is going to lose that planetary, and that is so disastrous, as the blue Terran bot is still just being choked on out here. And the main base has got to start mining out soon. Although I guess the natural is where most of the mules have been getting dropped, because that's actually mining out sooner than the main. These swarm hosts are still getting lots and lots of work done, and this third base is still just barely mining too for Ketroc, as it's just constantly been harassed by Locusts. That's really eating into its money. There is an attempt to get up another base here. Unfortunately, this Zergling is being a nuisance and preventing that from landing. If a planetary can get established, things could drastically turn around for Ketroc. A Raven's going to come out and allow that Ling to be killed so the base can land. As long as Ketroc doesn't lift this off, we actually had some very interesting drift there of, I think, the Liberator sieged up, pushing the command center. Locusts are now hitting this front location. Ketroc is still holding it. It's repairing. The Vikings are helping out. Looks like the swarm host did actually get found, so they unburrow. I'm not sure if they're going to stick around or reburrow or what, as Ketroc has now got the fight on this planetary fortress, which I'll actually say is better than just trying to defend its natural. It does have tanks and Liberators sieged up at this location, so it looks like it may actually get established. The turret's being repaired, just tanking some damage. The siege tank in the back is shelling away. The planetary's holding on. This one tank is doing a lot of work, up to 55 kills, although I'm sure most of it is Locust. These swarm hosts are just doing the Locust dance, as they're going to toss out another wave. That is one of the things with bots where they get more efficiency. Those Locusts are getting tossed out as soon as that 35-second cooldown is off. They are throwing out more of those Locusts. It is non-stop and has been for, I don't know, the past 8 minutes or so. We've even got Locusts now towards this right-hand side of the base. We'll see where they're ending up, as it seems Eris is doing a good job harassing the bases of Ketroc. Resources are so in favor of Eris, it's not even funny. Ketroc is down to 34 SCVs. It's trying to establish more of them, but it keeps on losing them, as this planetary has been repaired, but the SCVs are getting targeted down. In comes some Locusts. There's even a blinding cloud on the planetary, and Ketroc has been trying to hold on. It's been trying to survive in this game, but I think the storm is a little too strong, as these Locusts, they've got these swarm hosts, they've had some insane value. I don't think a single one has died. No, a single swarm host hasn't died. And yeah, Ketroc just not quite having the the realization that it needs to drive these away. That planetary died, and dare I say that that may just be lights out for this blue Terran. I think it probably will be. It's 90 supply to 200. The Ravens are good, but Ketroc has only got 12. It's not like it's got 30 like it enjoys to have. The Terran bot has lost way too many SCVs to these constant waves of Locust. That's really been the main kicker. Ketroc's had to invest so many resources in rebuilding those. Auto turrets are getting spammed down to an insane degree. But while they drive off the Zerg for now, we're just seeing more and more Locust are going to be getting tossed out till they get dealt with. I think we've got a clear victor in this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to fast forward a little bit to see if there's a miraculous comeback. But I believe now would be a good time to leave a comment and press that like button if you haven't already. That goes a long way to supporting the channel. If you want to see a rematch between Ketroc and Eris, let me know, as I do love the late games where Ketroc can actually get up to that high supply. So I will see if there's more Eris and Ketroc games to be cast. Ketroc's holding on an impressively long amount of time, but without a fourth base, there's no way. With more and more of these SCVs dying, we're got to be getting close to 200 dead, 180. And the Swarm Host strategy from Eris, it's just really darn cool programming, constantly tossing those out. We've even got a Spore Forest start growing for the Zerg towards the right-hand side of the base. This planetary will finally fall, and yeah, these Swarm Hosts, they are just having the time of their lives. I like how there was the 5 that were running around all game, and then the couch potatoes that were just hanging out. Yeah, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. Another well-played game by Eris, showing us why it's such a monster Zerg. You can design a bot to turtle, but Eris will turtle harder and will macro up harder and then just go kill you, it seems, with a variety of styles, which I think is one of the things that really makes me enjoy casting Eris. The fact that we get to see things like Swarm Host shenanigans. Still, Ketroc is holding on. 52 supply with a planetary. Siege tank putting in the overtime. The cost efficiency is pretty darn good for a Terran bot that's been fighting down like 100 supply for a long time. And that will continue on, but Ketroc is running out of money really quickly. And yeah, what a long death. Ketroc has been pinned since like the 8-minute mark, and it never really broke free. GG.